Ooh, man, finally got a battle going on. It's against a guy from my stream probably around 2 weeks ago by the name of Chaosfirepsn, I believe. He's on GameFAQs, a couple of other things, but he was in my stream and said, hey, I noticed you don't have a lot of these pokes, and I have access to bank, and you should have some of them. So I was like, well, I definitely can't say no to that. So I have myself a Victini on my side. He also hooked me up with a bunch of other things, as well as some things I wanted to get imported a little earlier before everybody else gets banked, so like my Maniac Trick, things like that. So huge shout out to him once again. I don't think I've actually done one on this channel yet, but yeah, he helped me out a lot, and it's great, and I have an actual good variety of pokes now. I'm closing in on 3 boxes, and it's actually pretty fantastic. So he's going to lead off with Genesect. I definitely wanted one of these, the shiny Genesect event thing, so I have one laying around. I don't know whether or not I'm actually going to end up using it, but for now, I get to cook one. So I lead off with my Charizard because I figure, hey, he got the attack raise. I might as well stay in here. He's probably not going to want to stay in, but he actually risked the coin flip on the Thunder. It is 50% in the Sun, and he nails it. But I also hit him with a Fire Blast, and that is a critical hit in the Sun. Rest in fucking pieces, Genesect. You are not knocking on anybody's door anymore. And turn 1, it's gone. So Rotom Wash comes in very suspiciously. I know that Rotom Wash is generally slower than Charizard. I'm pretty sure that, you know, this ain't my first rodeo, that kind of thing. So I'm actually going to go into my Go-Goat, which is a pretty nice switch into... It's a pretty good switch into Rotom Wash. The problem is I'm running a physically attacking set. I could definitely switch up the EVs and run, like, I don't know if it gets Giga Drain, but Giga Drain instead of Horn Leech is an option. I'd have to look at the offensive stats. But it's purely just like a mono grass attacking massive recovery set. It's got Bulk Up, Leech Seed, Milk Drink, and Horn Leech, but I'd probably have to change Bulk Up for something else. Regardless, I'm using Go-Goat, and I'm having a fantastic time despite the fact I thought you were going to be able to ride Go-Goat everywhere in the game. I'm sure everybody else did too. We were lied to, but Go-Goat is not that much of a disappointment. I promise it's a special defensive set in case anybody's curious. But I get to go for a Leech Seed after I missed my first one, which kind of sucked. You can tell it's especially defensive because the U-turn actually does a good chunk. Coming from Uxie, of all things, and I had not really fought a Uxie yet. Wasn't expecting to fight a Damp Rock one, but hey, that happens sometimes. It's obviously there for Manaphy. And, you know, to reduce the fire weakness against Lucario, I guess. I don't really mind either way, because the Manaphy's more than likely not going to come in on my Go-Goat. So, he's in at Lucario. I actually predict him to go for a Swords Dance here, because he has the free opportunity to. He would wreck my face in otherwise. Every time Mega Lucario goes for a close combat, it's like setting off a freaking nuke. It's ridiculous. So, I don't want anything else to take it, which is why I decided to go for a Leech Seed on the off chance he wants to set up the Swords Dance and make his nuke like a double nuke. It'd be pretty scary. So I'm at a good amount of HP. He ends up going for another Volt Switch. I think he just goes into his Mega Lucario once again. I ended up going for a Horn Leech. Whatever move happens. I mean, damage is damage on the Lucario. I'll take what I can get. As long as I get some HP off of it, it'll make it easier for anything on my team that outspeeds it / has priority. It'll make it easier to pick off because this is looking at his team. It's going to be his Mega. So I think he ends up Mega Evolving now and going for I think he ends up going for a Swords Dance on this one, which, you know, to be fair, that's definitely a good move. I definitely shouldn't have stayed in. Oh, no, he ends up going for an Ice Punch. Just kidding. Because it's an Ice Punch and not a close combat, I know I can live it. I'm not going to take it very well because I'm actually not physically defensive at all. But hey, you know what? Go-Goat's got a good amount of HP. I'm actually back up in the green at the end of this turn, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he predicts me to switch out on this turn, because ordinarily I'd want to save my Go-Go, but the way I see it, I'm not messing around with the banana threat on the other side of the field. Look at that! That thing is scary, so I end up going for a Leech Seed. It'll help out anything else that wants to switch in after Go-Goat dies. Go-Goat is just like walking death fodder at this point, but hey, you know what? He is a pretty crazy taxi, if you ask me, for staying in and actually surviving this long. And boom goes the Dynamite. I take a close combat to the face, and at least he has the lower defenses, and this is actually kind of key coming up in a second here. I don't know how much my next attack would have done otherwise, but my Weavile does have Fake Out. Don't ask me why. It was an egg move, and I'm having a fantastic time using it. It's actually saved me a few games having it. It's not something I used to run before, but the defense drop makes it so Fake Out does enough to the point where he actually dies to Leech Seed recovery. So, hey, look at that. Go-Go inadvertently helped out Weavile do something, And I'm not going to call Go-Goat the MVP, but it definitely was the ballsiest one here in the game, staying in way longer than it needed to, and ended up dying a lot later than it needed to. Problem now is I don't have a grass type to take on Manaphy, and I don't want Manaphy getting a free tail glow or anything of the sort. It's going to end up going for Scald, which kind of reveals to me that it's more of a defensive set, especially with the leftovers as well. Otherwise, I would have seen Tail Glow, possibly, you know, leftovers, Life Orb, that kind of thing. Unless they all run Scald now, in which case completely freaking ignore me. I usually only see Scald and Ice Beam, or like Scald and Grass Knot on Calm Mind rest sets, so that kind of thing. But like rest 3 attacks is still a pretty good thing too. I still don't really know a lot about it, other than it can take 2 Night Slashes from a Weavile, so it's probably bulky. I get to go into my Mandibuzz next, safe switch in. My Mandibuzz happens to actually be, I believe it's physically defensive. I'm quickly realizing right now that I EV'd this thing incorrectly. I have no reason to be taking physical hits at all. A special defensive one would definitely be better, so I'm probably going to end up re-EVing this one, or just rebreeding in general, because I think this is an Impish Mandibuzz. But, or maybe I'll just make another one. I don't know. I'm taking way too much from Volt Switches and stuff. I just had Aegislash in mind. I feel like that's a fair thing to do. Just bring in a Mandibuzz on an Aegislash and not really worry about it at all. It's also got knockoff, so you can get rid of the weakness policy or the leftovers or the life orb that the Aegislash might have, while doing a pretty good amount of damage. I also don't think I bred Foul Play onto this if it's an egg move, so that's why I'm running knockoff. It's kind of whatever. Knockoff's a fun move. Probably not the best against Aegislash, but hey, I'll take it. Knockoff's still a pretty cool attack. So he sets up Rocks as I go for a Roost. Rocks is really obvious, so I figured, hey, you know what, I'll get some HP back while he either ends up just going for a U-turn or hard switching out into Rotom. He's probably just going to end up U-turning, doing a very poor amount of damage, and I'll just defog on the switch, or I don't know, I really don't care. As long as Rocks are off the field and my Charizard gets another opportunity to switch in, then hey, it'll be fantastic. So Rotom Wash is going to come in once again. And I believe I just leave this in, and oh no, wait, just kidding. The one time I actually, okay, whatever, never mind. Switch out into Florges, because I actually EV'd one of these things very recently. These things are scary. These things are very scary on the special side, and I inadvertently was playing this game to the point where I wanted to get rid of most of his physical attackers. If Excadrill was out of the way, and it still is lying in the wings, I probably would have been golden to just set up from here, set up right in his face, and then just Moonblast everything. But it is Calm Mind, Wish Protect, and I believe just Moonblast. So no real need to make that any more complicated than it is. You get recovery, you get stat boosting, you get a stab attack, you get lefties, and you get some good bulk. So just do that, go to work. Gets a Stealth Rock up again. Don't really mind. I think I just ended up going for a Moonblast on this one. Anyways, does a pretty good junk after +1, but I don't think I have, or maybe I do have special attack investment. Looking at that, I think I do. I don't think I have special defense investment, but it's just a bulky thing. So sets up a Rain Dance. I believe I ended up going for a Wish. I should have just killed it. I definitely should have just killed it. I could have been able to take any other attack from like Manaphy or Rotom Wash reasonably enough. But he ends up going for a Memento on this next turn. And I completely forgot that attack existed until right when he used it. But he sacrifices himself, which, big deal, who's probably going to die at the end of the turn anyway. And my attack and special attack are lowered by 2 stages. So my special defense is +1. Or +2. I think it's +1. But my special attack is either -1 or just neutral. So I don't really feel like staying in, especially against a Manaphy. I want to get the Calm Mind thing going. But he's going to end up outpacing me at this point because I actually am set behind, I believe, 2. So I think I'm just going in for it. Why not? The Rain's going to run out eventually, which is the only reason that Manaphy is a thing in OU right now. Perma-Rain is gone, and it's not as big of a threat as long as it can't rest for free. But I do see Calm Mind. I've seen Scald, all that stuff. I believe we see a rest somewhere along the line, too. So, yeah, just typical Manaphy, that whole thing. So, we're going to see the rest. It's going to get back up to full HP. Fine by me. Think I ended up either going for a Wish or another Calm Mind here. But once the Rain wears off, it actually loses its Scald effectiveness as well because its stab doesn't get boosted once again. So Hydration kicks in, it wakes up, blah, blah, blah. Rain's hopefully going to wear off eventually. But once the rain does wear off, my special defense is going to catch up to him, and he's probably going to end up being forced to switch. So just sitting here, letting this thing happen, and then I think he goes into his Excadrill now, which does have the resistance to Fairy. I don't have as many special attack stages as I would like, so I'm not really going to want to stay in, especially when I've seen these things carry Iron Head sometimes, and my special defense is doing nothing against his regular attacks. So that, and I'm burned, that whole thing. I don't really want to let that catch up to me. I got other pokes that can deal with this, so I'm not too concerned with it. I think I just ended up going out into my Mandibuzz on this turn, predicting either the Earthquake or the Iron Head, whichever. I don't really care. Would have just ended up going for a Defog if I ended up living, or possibly Roost. I don't know. If he ended up going for an Earthquake, I probably could have risked a Roost, because I actually end up living this Rock Slide. But it turns out that I'm not going to have enough to live another one after this, despite the fact that I am physically defensive, question mark. I definitely could have sworn I was, but just end up down to 2, which means that my Charizard is now switch fodder, because it definitely has less than half HP. This is kind of important. Now that I lost my spinner, I have to be careful with this Victini and how I switch it in. But the way I see it, I might as well just go for V-Create. Even if he switches in Manaphy, he doesn't have any more Rain with Uxie anymore, so V-Create will still hurt. I believe this is a banded one anyway. And yeah, just spam V-Creates, don't even care. Also has Rotom Wash left over too, but the way he's been playing it, I'm pretty sure it's Scarf, so I actually don't want to stay in on it yet. I'd rather take it out with something else. And I just end up switching in Charizard now, so that way I can get the free switch into something else after knowing what he's locked himself into. So he ends up going for Hydro Pump. You know who can set up all day on that thing? Freaking Florges. That's right, just go for a Calm Mind. I think he ends up hard switching because the Hydro Pump is realistically not going to do anything to Florges at all. And just ends up going straight into his Manaphy. As I set up a Calm Mind, beautiful, looking great, and now no more Mementoing, no more nothing. As long as I can get myself to a good amount of HP, get maybe 1-2 Calm Minds, it's looking like we're getting near the end of the game here. I just need to be careful how I play the next couple of turns, because if he is a Scarf Rotom Wash, there definitely is the risk that he could have Trick, because that, I think, is a Heart Scale move. It's either Heart Scale or Level Up. It's not an event thing at all, but he could definitely dump the Scarf on me, which is why I ended up going for the Wish on the last turn. Also, you know, just to keep that going, and then I believe I just end up spamming Moonblast at this point. And this Rotom Wash is definitely choiced. All signs point to Scarf. Definitely could have been a pretty aggressive bluff with Specs, but I think he ends up dumping a Scarf on me. I don't think I was ever really in a position to see what the Rotom's actual speed was, but it's a good thing I picked Moonblast on this turn, because I get a crit. Don't think it really mattered, especially against offensive Rotom Wash, especially after a +1. Maybe it did a little. I don't know, but I have a Choice Scarf on me now, so whatever. We'll figure that out as soon as, I don't know, whatever. Spamming Moonblast on Manaphy, and if it wants to go for Rest, it can to recover, but seeing how much Moonblast does to a Manaphy of all things, and given the fact that I was fighting an offensive Rotom Wash, I'm pretty sure the crit came pretty close to not freaking mattering at all. So, and owing to the fact that I am Scarfed, I think I would normally outslow this thing, but because I have the Choice Scarf on me, I can just go for another Moonblast and knock it out. So hey, Florges MVP, got a useless crit at the end there. Go-Goat definitely being an honorable second mention thing there. Weavile did pretty hot. I think everybody outside of Charizard did get the nice satisfaction of roasting a Genesect on turn 1 though. So hey, that was pretty cool. But that was one of the games we had. I actually had a lot of fun with it. I hope you guys liked it too. If you did, you can leave a like rating, comment, and subscribe, and do your thing. I'm so sorry I haven't been around as much as I would definitely like to be. I have been EVing a lot of things, and just taking a lot of battles in general. I've got plenty of them that are still coming my way. I've got maybe like 2 or 3 backed up, and then I've got like 5 more on the way too. So they're all going to be fantastic. You'll get them when you get them, I guess. A little bit of a longer one today, though. And, yeah, I'll see you guys next time I see you. Hopefully I'll end up being tomorrow. If not, then yeah, just gonna chuck the schedule out the window. Bye.